you guys. So here we are moving on, and we are starting. We're going to talk about domain and range. This is basically what we talked about in class on Friday. You need to pick up your packet, make sure you're doing your Delta Math assignments. And here is a little bit more about domain and range. We did this in class, but I thought I'd go ahead and give you guys a video just to make sure that you guys hopefully understand it. For domain and range, you're going to scan your pencil from the left to the right to identify which x values you are looking at in the graph. So when I'm talking about the graph, I'm talking about this line right here that's highlighted. I'm going to scan my pencil from the left to the right, but what I need to understand is this arrow means it goes on in that direction for infinity. So this arrow is saying this is going on infinitely, and it's going to the negative side infinitely. This arrow means that it is going on to infinity in the positive direction for your x values. So going from the left, we're going negative infinity is our domain. So we're talking about our x values to positive infinity. Now, when we're talking about our range, we are talking about basically our y-axis right here. So we're going from the bottom to the top, and we're identifying the y values. So I start at the bottom, and I noticed that that highlighter yellow graph has not touched my pen yet. It hasn't touched my pen. It hasn't touched my pen. It doesn't touch my pen until it gets to right here at y equals -2. So the very first y value that comes into play is y equals -2, and it's touching it, so I'm going to use an equal sign. We're talking about our y values, and then it goes up, 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 up in that direction to infinity. So keep in mind when we're talking about domain and range, we're talking about boundaries. All right, we're talking about what are the boundaries of our x values and what are the boundaries of our y values. Okay, our input, this would be our input, and our output. So what are our boundaries? So you notice that in this situation, our left boundary, if I take my pen, the circle here, which is our graph, our current graph, does not actually touch the pen until I get here to -3. So my far left boundary, this is my lowest value, is going to be -3. And I know that x has to be greater than or equal to -3. Because that is the lowest it goes. X is in between these. And I keep my pencil, keep my pencil, keep my pencil, and then it stops here at +3. So this is my highest value. So this is saying x is somewhere between -3 and +3. Somewhere in between those two numbers is your x. What about your range? Well, I'm going from the bottom, so my lowest y value, to my highest y value. My very lowest is going to be right here at -1, 2, 3 is my lowest, and it's actually touching, and we're talking about my range, so our y values, and it's going to go up 1, 2, 3 to +3, and it would touch that. Now I say it's touching, and the reason that I know it's touching is because if it's a solid point, then it includes, or we use less than or greater than or equal to. If it's an open circle, it does not include, it excludes, it is not including that value. And so we use either greater than or less than. All right, so in this one, it goes from -infinity. I'm going left to right. Our lowest value is -infinity. Our highest value is going to be +infinity, and I know that because of those arrows. And I always go from, if you go left to right, you're always going to use less than or equal to. And you always use less than or equal to when you talk about infinity, because infinity is a concept. So just keep that in mind. Infinity or negative infinity. It's not an actual number. We talked about that in class. My range is going to be negative infinity to positive infinity. All right. So that's a little bit like what we discussed today. Hopefully you're getting that. I will pause the video, see if you can do the extras, but I'm just going to show you the answers to the right. All right, here are the answers to these. Hopefully you're getting these. If you just keep working on it. And again, we're going to just do, I'm not going to do these. I'm going to do this one here. This, you're going from left to right. It starts, there's nothing, 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 nothing. The first boundary is -2 for my domain. And it's a solid point. But if you notice at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's an open circle. So I'm going to just leave that as less than. And my range, I'm starting at the very bottom. It starts right here, which is -2. But again, it's an open circle. Now, keep in mind, I don't care that the end of the graph is here. I am seeing how much of this y, what y values are covered. And it goes up to +1. Now, one thing that you may want to do if you still are struggling is you may want to write a box around where it is, and then you can tell that the x values are the numbers within the box and the y values are the numbers within the box. And then if you get one with, for an example, arrows, you can't draw the boundaries, so then you know they're infinity. This one, though, for example, the boundaries as far as your x goes, it begins and ends right at 2. So your x is going to be always 2. No matter what your y value is, x is 2. And your range is going to be negative infinity to positive infinity. So, and then in this situation, my range is going to be all real numbers, or negative infinity to positive infinity. And my range, basically, I'm going up, 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 up. I get a hit right here at -4, but I don't have another hit, so y is -4. That's it. Okay, pause the video. I'll do the rest of these answers and show them to you, and hopefully that will be helpful. All right, so here you go. This question right here is not my favorite. In class, I think we said go ahead and put that as a stopping point. Since these have arrows, I'm just going to tell you, I think that the expectation is that you would believe that it would continue in that same pattern. But let me tell you, that's making an assumption that I think is an incorrect assumption to make. And you need to assume it's going off in this direction, that the pattern is not going to continue, that it's going to just go head up. If the pattern did continue, then my range would be changed to -3, and then the top boundary would be +2, and it would look like that. But this question is a weird question. We talked about that in class. So here are your answers here, and hopefully that is helpful. All right.